Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you guys doing? I saw this video pop up. I thought it looked quite fascinating. Life in Germany. American versus German traffic police. Okay. I love videos like this that dive into like kind of a specific little aspect of Germany or scenario. Getting pulled over by the traffic police in Germany. Man, I would not know what to expect. I just read the top comment. In Germany, you do not get shot for speeding. Oh, well, that's great. There's a difference. And it's by Trials and Travelations. Oh, I like that name. Check them out. Link down below.
Hey everybody, so today I had my first encounter with the Deutsche Polizei,
wow.
so the police here in Germany.
Okay, this is kind of cool. So she's American and this is a first-hand encounter.
And needless to say, it was a little unexpected. So I have to share this experience with you because I'm still a little freaked out in a very unexpected way. So my husband and I are like driving down the road, our main road that we always take to get from our little town to the interstate, right? And
The Autobahn.
it's all in kilometers.
Maybe.
It's like one point, it's like 70 kilometers, the next like 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers is the max there, which is really like 60 miles an hour. But everyone kind of just drives whatever they want because they're so used to being on the Autobahn, right? Our interstate here in Germany where we can drive as fast as we want to, right? So everyone kind of does whatever they want. But today, for whatever.
Kind of hard to believe. I'm not going to lie right off the bat. A little bit hard to believe, but okay. Usually I think of Germans as being pretty, law-abiding, pretty, like respectful in that way. So thinking that they're all just doing whatever they want, maybe it's true, but that's really interesting because that's not what I would have thought.
Whatever reason, there were police out waiting and watching, and we didn't see them and we didn't know. And so my husband was like, we're running late, and he was just driving kind of whatever he wanted. So it wasn't too fast, but a little bit faster than what we're used to anyway, right? And so then suddenly there's a man and he's standing in the middle of the road and he puts his hand out and he's like waving us to the side. And I'm like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like we're getting pulled over. Like, okay, breathe, calm down. Okay. Like I'm like looking for my passport. Like I'm a foreigner in this country. I'm like, okay, what?
Okay. I just have to say the idea of getting pulled over by a dude jumping out in front of you and putting his hand out, that's almost unfathomable over here in America. So that's already super bizarre.
What do I have here? Like, calm down. We'll be okay. I don't have my documents with me. But
I mean, they would. I guess I should clarify. The only way you get pulled over here in America is with a car pulling up behind you and putting their lights on. That's pretty much the only way.
I have my residence permit and that should be okay. And I'm like, getting ready to like put my hands on the dashboard. Like, we don't want anything concealed. We want our hands, in view of everything. And so now he's
okay, this isn't America.
Pulled us over, this man, not in a vehicle, like just waving us down slowly. And he comes to our window and he tells us to roll it down. And I'm like, okay, just breathe. And I'm not spoken to because I wasn't driving. Thank goodness my husband was the one driving. He's German. And he asked my husband to get
Oh, so, he's been through it, so that's not too scary.
Out of the car. And I'm like, okay, this is getting real. Just calm down. Just breathe. Just act German, right? So I'm like putting on my serious face. And I'm like, okay, don't say anything. Don't do anything. And then my husband looks at me and in English, he's like, hey, can you hand me our registration? And I'm like, wie bitte? Like, excuse me? And I'm like, Andreas, like, aber wir sprechen hier Deutsch. Wir sprechen kein English, And I'm like, I'm saying like, we don't speak English, we speak German to each other, I'm like, don't know that I'm a foreigner, don't listen to my accent, like we are good.
I wonder what her reservation about revealing that she's a foreigner is. I mean, I don't know. I for one wouldn't be my first thought. If I was in Germany getting pulled over, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't let them know I'm a foreigner. That would probably be the first thing I'd say. I'd be like, my bad. I'm from America. You got to cut me some slack, please. My bad. Oh, I'm driving on the wrong side of the road. I thought I was in London.
German residents, we abide by the law and things, you know. So I'm handing him my registration, and it's my car, of course, and so it's in my name and not in his name. So they're like, "What, did you borrow this car? Because I have a very American name." He's like, no, it's my wife's. I'm like, oh gosh, now he's gonna want to talk to me, and I don't want to talk to him. And so then he doesn't need to talk to me after all. But then they go to the back of the car, and I'm like, he's gonna search our car. Like, what is happening? And he looks in the back, and of course, my husband had left an entire beer kista. It's like a whole case of beer, which is pretty typical in Germany. People like go and buy a whole case of beer, and they should keep that at their house at all times, or for a party you might have several. But we of course had left it in our car because it's heavy and we want to bring it in. And so then
A case of beer, like cans of beer? I don't see a problem with that. What's the problem with that?
he's like looking at it, he's like, it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, by the way, right? And he's like, have you been drinking today, sir? And my husband's like, oh, no, you can test me if you need to. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, don't let them know there's a reason to test. Like, what is happening here? So then after a few minutes, like, my husband asked for his wallet.
Police are funny. I feel like they would absolutely do that the same here in America. It's like, oh, you have a case of beer in your trunk. Have you been drinking? No. It's just beer in my trunk. I'm transporting it. Is that allowed? Are you allowed to bring it from the store to your house? Is that legal?
Again in English. I'm like, come on now. And so then I hand him his wallet. I'm like, what is happening? Like, they're gonna take him in.
Like, it's not even cold.
They're gonna breathalyze him. Like, why do they need more information from him? And then my husband just comes back to the car. And I was like, okay, like, what is happening? And he hands me a little slip. I don't have a little slip with me, a little slip of paper. And it had like 5 euros, 10 euros, 15 euros, 20 euros. And you could like circle one, and it looked like a lottery ticket. I was like, what is this thing? Like, did we win a prize? Like, what is happening? And sure enough, there was one circled, and according to how fast you were going, that's how much you had to pay. And if you had the cash with you, you could just like hand the policeman cash. And if you didn't, it was fine. You were just supposed to mail in this cash later. I was like, what? And so my husband just like handed the guy a 20 euro bill, and it was just done.
Are you serious? Oh my God, that's like so brilliant. That's so much better than the system here. I mean, oh my God. Then again, I mean, maybe over here in the States you need a little bit more of a deterrent because the people aren't as like law-abiding, I feel like just as far as, you know, sticking to the regulations of the road. My point is that over here in America, if you get a ticket for speeding, it is not that casual. It's like, okay, you're going to have to go appear in court. And you're going to have to pay $250. Or you just get a warning. Usually a warning. But if you do get the ticket, it's kind of a big deal.
And it was fine. And I'm like sitting there in shock. He's trying to explain this to me. I'm looking at our little receipt that looks like a lottery ticket, not sure what we've won or what we haven't won or what's happening from this point forward. And then the policeman comes back up to us and he's like, oh, have a nice day, you guys. Enjoy your time in the city or whatever we were going to do. And I'm like still like sitting there like frozen to the dashboard. And I'm like slowly taking my hands back and I'm like, okay, like, this is what happened. Did he literally just like wish us a good day and like it's over? And like, yeah, my husband just like rolled up the window and it was fine. And we just like drove away slowly. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I was so worried. And I thought like, they should know we were a foreigner. And I can't believe you were speaking to me in English. And like, why did this even happen? My husband's like, no, it's fine. Like, yeah, I mean, that's the difference, right? Like, our tagline here for our policemen is Dein Freund and Helfer. And I couldn't believe it. Like all the stories that I'm so used to in the States, and I support, law enforcement and whatnot, and but as a foreigner, I didn't expect to have such normal treatment, or that people would be so freundlich is the word. They were so friendly. Dein Freund and Helfer translates to your friend and helper, and that's how the police understand themselves.
Oh wow, that's quite refreshing. I like that. Your friend and helper.
Here in Germany.
Woo! No, I did not just get shot. I had to sneeze.
Interesting comparison.
Pardon me.
To in America, protect and serve. And we definitely had a very different experience on that day. And so I was glad to see that even though I had my accent and everything, it didn't seem to be a problem. And we have our cute little.
That would have been really, really disturbing if having an accent would have been a problem. That would have been pretty sad. But I'm glad it wasn't. That was very fascinating. Very fascinating. That is indeed a lot different than how it would go over here in the States. I mean, like this comment says, in Germany, you don't get shot for speeding. That's the main difference. I will say, her, I don't know, her reaction is a little bit dramatized. Like, I was actually pulled over yesterday, and you know, I wasn't like scared or anything. I didn't think I was gonna be shot. I was more so just like, what the heck? And the cop was, you know, he was kind of, I wouldn't say he was friendly, but it was like whatever, and it was a warning, and it was like, okay, have a good day. You know, my point is, you don't always get shot when you speed over here in America. But that does sound like a particularly friendly interaction. I'm also very amused by, you know, the guy goes out in the street and flags him down. That's interesting. Yeah, and the ticket just being payable right there, man, that's convenient. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys. Well, I'm going to be on vacation tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow off. So I'll see you. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week.